Eyup Cock, this is predictions for League One and League Two on final day. You did read that right. It's not a typo. I'm doing League Two as well, and it's not going to be a regular thing. So any League Two fans, any like Bristol Rovers or Crawley lads that are like, yes, he's going to keep talking about us. No, it's only for today because there's not enough happening in League One. There's literally one thing to play for. Bottom four are relegated. Birmingham and Wrexham are up. 3 at 4 playoff teams are decided. It's literally Leyton, Orient versus Reading on last day in League One, and that is it. Everything else is League Two. So I'm going to fly through a lot of them and then go through the important fixtures at end, really, for this, and then go into League Two afterwards with the same thing. So like Blackpool, Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers are relegated because of Burton on Tuesday night. Burton got a draw, which meant that Bristol Rovers are relegated. It's nothing to do with Burton. Realistically, the Bristol Rovers are relegated. It's because they are shit. And have been for the majority of this season, especially post-January, they've been terrible. So not overly surprising. I think that trend will carry on with losing because they've been crap for ages. And Blackpool, like I've said a few times, they're inconsistent now, but I do think they're quite a tidy side, and core squad's quite good. I think they should win that fairly easy without breaking sweat, really, like 3-1 Blackpool. Bolton, Stevenage. Bolton have lost 4 out of the last 5. They've got nothing to play for going into that last game. So there's Bolton, Blackpool, Huddersfield, Barnsley, like loads of your traditionally bigger sides in this league have got absolutely nothing to play for. Again, I think that trend carries on. I don't think Bolton will win at home to Stevenage. I think it'll be quite like a flat/toxic atmosphere at the tough shit community stadium. Stevenage aren't big scorers, but they're not big conceders either. I think it'll be a boring game. Honestly, like a 1-1. Just move on. Cambridge, Birmingham. I was debating talking about this one properly because Birmingham... Well, I'm filming this on Wednesday, so they're playing tonight, Birmingham. They're on 105 points with a game tonight that they're probably going to win, and then this one as well. So they've already broken points record in this league. They could have broken the EFL record by the time that this comes out anyway, but they definitely will away at Cambridge. Cambridge are down. Despite having a decent effort at near end, they're still relegated. They lost the last 2. Never really stood a chance because the squad's miles off. Neil Harris could manage, though, could bring them straight back up. But I think Birmingham, again, should probably win this without breaking sweat. Again, as they have done for the majority of this season. I don't think they'll get out of first gear, even if they go for like a big rotated squad. But they're looking to set a point tally that'll never be broken in history. And I think they will. I'll go 2-0 Birmingham. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you at Championship next year, lads. Videos, that is. Obviously not Barnsley, God forbid. Charlton, Burton. Charlton are 5th. Burton have stayed up. This is quite a dodgy one to call. I'm not going to lie to you. Because Burton going to be like... Do you think Burton are up pace? They played Tuesday night, so coming round to... all the way down to Charlton for this. I don't think they'll get one flying cahoot what score is Burton, to be honest. Charlton might rotate, knowing that they're going to have playoffs like a few days / a week afterwards. But I still think Charlton win. I'm like, come on. Especially at home. They'll not want to get that home form, will they? Despite losing the last game away at Wrexham, they got battered. But their home form's really good, and I think they'll want to maintain that going into it. Keep level head, keep your professionalism, keep your focus. Nathan Jones does not strike me as the bloke that will let that slip. So I think they'll win. Again, probably 2-1. Lincoln playing Wrexham. Lincoln on decent form, to be fair. They lost the last game. But Wrexham, again, high on life. A lot of experience. Honest to God, would not surprise me in the slightest if they just don't turn up and Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney just pay for a fine or whatever it is. We've already gone to Vegas, lads. Have your points. Don't care. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But on the off chance that they do actually feel a team for this game, I think they'll lose. Like, I do not think they care at all. To be fair, I could go back and look at previous seasons because they were promoted with games to spare in other years as well, weren't they? So I could see what the results were like after that. But the full squad is effectively different now, and it will be in 3-4 months when they've bought £10 million worth of players again. They'll not be coming back to this league ever again unless their ownership gets bored or something like that. Wrexham, honestly, they will never ever step foot in League One again. And if they do, it'll be because Robin Ryder maybe got bored and they sold it onto somebody and then they just start doing this and going back down to like League 2, non-league again. But I don't think we'll ever see Wrexham again in this shit league, man, I'm telling you. But I do think they will lose this. 3-1 Lincoln. I quite like Lincoln. And it'll be the last game, especially for some of the defenders that are definitely going to leave. I just hope Barnsley can pick up at least one of them. Because I'd really like them to send them out of our contract. Mansfield, Exeter. Mansfield are terrible and in immediate hot water going into next season, I would think, unless there's a big change in summer. Really, really don't like their chance of staying up, I'm not going to lie. Exeter, steady. Performances, crap. Results, not so much. But I don't think Mansfield have got either of them. So I will probably give Exeter a run at Millia because even though they are playing quite poo from what I've seen, they're still winning games and game points. I think it'll be the same again. 1-0. 1-0 Exeter. Northampton, Wigan, biggest 0-0 all time. Rotherham, Peterborough. Not these games. They're just not games, are they? Like, there's not even anything remotely interesting going on. I will say 2-1 to Peterborough. Shrewsbury Crawley, that's a bit of a laugh. Crawley have won the last two and are quite unlucky, I think, to get relegated. I think if Liam Lindsay had have actually stayed in first place instead of going to MK Dons, I do think Crawley would have survived, honestly. Which is a bit of a kick in teeth, especially when he's come back there and he's still there now. I wouldn't know how to feel about him if I was like a member of staff in building or a fan. I wouldn't know what to think about the bloke. But again, out of the sides going down, they're in quite a good spot to try and come back up. He come up with a really shit side in first place. So it also can work wonders like that. I do think there's a lot of these sides that could come straight back up. More often than not, they go straight down again. But I do think this crop of teams don't really have anything to lose. For the most part, because the squads are crap start to finish. They've got no real standouts. Apart from Shrewsbury with John Marquis. If they can keep him, I think they will comfortably come up in automatics. I really do. He's such a good 9, mate. He's so busy. He's a bit of a bastard and all, which I like, especially in like these shit poxy leagues, bottom end of League 1 and 2. Scored twice against Barnsley. His movement's just perfect. He's an experienced number 9. Still got legs in him. Mate, he will score for fun if Shrewsbury can keep him. I don't like the manager, though. Still, I know the bet was 2-1, but we're shit. So I will go with a 1-1 for Shrewsbury and Crawley. I'm going to keep a keen eye on League 2 next year. I am, especially at top end of it. Like, I've done a little bit this time with top sides, but I'm going to really have a look at these 4 next year. Because I won't be surprised if all of them are in top 7. Which is never really happens, but I think this one could. Just depends completely on keeping managers, keeping odd player, but none of them have got anything really that can lose it. That's important. Wycombe Stockport. This is 3rd and 4th going into it and does decide who plays who in playoffs, whether it's Leyton Orient or Reading, and depending on who plays Charlton. It can't be these two playing each other in playoffs because they've both got much better goal difference than Charlton. So even if they draw and Charlton win, said they go level on points with Stockport, but Stockport would finish 3rd regardless. So this can't be a playoff game. And realistically, I only think one of these is getting to Wembley and it's Stockport, depending on who they both play. I cannot see Wycombe doing anything, especially if they lose this game. And I think they will. Like I said it a few weeks ago, I think Wycombe will finish 5th. And I wish I'd have put money on it. If I could put some money on something like that, I would. Because they'll have lost to Leyton Orient, Charlton and Stockport in the last 3 games. It just would happen that they get promoted though now, wouldn't it? Like, they'll lose to all 3 of them before we get into playoffs and then win all games like 3-0. But I do think they will lose this again, Wycombe. I think they will lose 2-1 to Stockport. Stockport are quite iffy away, but I think they'll take advantage of Wycombe being quite down and momentum that'll give them. They'll be in best form by an absolute mile going into it, apart from Leyton Orient, unless they get in. So, Stockport, it's going to be a very good playoffs, let's put it that way, but I think Stockport win 2-1. Now, for 2 games that actually mean something, we've got Reading and Barnsley first. Reading need to win to get into here because they've got same goal difference as Leyton Orient. The only way that this can realistically go in the favour of Reading's is if they need a point at least. If they get a draw and Leyton Orient lose, which I think is highly unlikely, then Reading will get in. But Reading have to beat us here, and by a bit of a margin, especially if goal difference is out of question in it. Reading have literally just got to try and win and just hope that Huddersfield do them a favour when they're playing Leyton Orient. I think Reading have sold like a bucket load of tickets. I think Barnsley taking 1,000 down as well, which is nuts. Because Reading is like, regardless of it being far away, it's such like, it's not a drinking place, Reading, from when I've been. It's just like, it's not somewhere you'd rush back to, especially when you've had your worst finish in like 25 years like Barnsley have. So I'm surprised we're taking that many down. Barnsley, if we had Jallow and Humphries fit, then I think we could do something. But we've got no fit wingers, no fit width to play the system that Orient wants. It's going to be a big turnaround for us in summer. I've said that a few times, but for the right here and now, I don't think we've got enough really to lay a glove on Reading, and we lost 2-1 to Shrewsbury. So, despite the fact that we have got best player in league, or one off in Dun, well, now the Birmingham promoted, I'm saying we've got best player in league in Dun, and we can get goals through middle, but I don't think we offer enough with width at all, as defence is absolutely horrendous. And Reading's is actually quite good. So I honestly can't see us scoring. We might nick 1 if Dunn can be, like, if Dunn turns up and he can be asked, then we might get something through Dunn. But I think Reading should win this, realistically. I think Reading will beat us 2-1 to give them a chance, relying on Huddersfield to beat Leyton Orient, or at least take a point off them. Which leads me into it. It is Huddersfield and Leyton Orient. Huddersfield have lost their last 5 games. They've lost 7 out of the last 8 and won 1. So, unlucky Reading. But I don't think Leyton Orient will lose this game. This is the best way of looking at it. Last 5 games, Huddersfield, 0 points. Leyton Orient, 15. That's the levels that these two are at. I just can't see a world where Leyton Orient don't win this game. They're coming into it on Very, very good form. I honestly do think we could have derailed the season because I went to Leyton Orient and we were 3-1 up and ended up losing. I think if we'd have seen that out, then we could have really, really had a big say on it at end. But they've won the 2 games after that. Cambridge away, which were fighting for their lives at the time. And then Wickham at home, who've been in top 2 or 3 all season and only recently just fallen off a cliff. So them 2 wins are very impressive. They're still scoring goals even if Callum and Donnelly aren't involved, which is really impressive. I do think Richie Wellens needs to change his tactics up a little bit if they are to get in, just based on the defensive side of things, because they're very easy to get through. I know that apparently Leyton Orient fans were telling me that against us, they were going like gung-ho against us, because that's what we do as well now we are in, so I'm not surprised. But I do think he will have to change his system up quite a bit, but not for this game. Huddersfield can be got at very easily. Their defence is crap. It is. It's bordering on being as bad as ours. Obviously, well, no, it's not, because ours is like absolutely stinking League 2 dog shit. But Huddersfield, their defence is crap as well. I do just think they can get at you as well. In the same way. Huddersfield, they're completely mismanaging how they approach games, and especially from a forward point of view. They've got Taylor and they're making him come deep and shit. It's daft as out. They've got this racehorse up front that they're never playing behind. But I do think they will get a goal against Leyton Orient because they can be got at, like I said. So I'll give Huddersfield 1. But Leyton Orient, I don't see a world where these don't win. I think they will come into playoffs 6 wins in a row. That's trying to stop a train with your bare hands in it. I think Leyton Orient win 3-1, which would mean that obviously nothing else matters but 6th in this division. I've got Reading winning and Leyton Orient winning, but Leyton Orient getting there on goal difference. Yo! Subscribe, please. And I'm doing a live for these games. So at 12 on Saturday, all the way through to about, 5 o'clock when League 1 and 2 is finished. I've got... Help me. Rate League 2. There's 5 games that I've got here that actually mean something to me. The rest of them, Jack Diddle squat, couldn't care less. So I will actually fly through the games I don't care about and then quickly go into ones that I do. Accrington Stanley versus Chesterfield. Chesterfield have still got a chance of getting in there. They're a point behind and they've got a really good goal difference. So if they do manage a win here, they're honestly in a decent nick of getting in. I do think they will win. I honestly do. They've not lost in ages. I think they'll win this game. They've put a few goals past teams recently. I think they'll do the same to Accrington Stanley, who have survived, but also haven't lost in the last 4. I will give 3-1 to Chesterfield. I honestly think they could have a decent chance of getting in there at last. Bromley and Cheltenham, 2 sides that are both half decent going forward, but also quite crap at back, goal tally-wise. But I'm going to give Bromley a 2-1. Colchester and Barrow. Again, Colchester have got a decent chance of getting in there. If they win, they do have to rely on Salford losing. In fact, it won't matter because I've got Chesterfield winning. But regardless, Colchester could mathematically still get in there. Barrow are just doing nothing in middle of the table, bottom half. But they've also conceded 7 goals in the last 2 games, Colchester. And Barrow haven't lost in at least 5 games and don't concede loads and loads of goals. They conceded 3 in the last one, but none in the 4 before that. Colchester have got to go for it, though. So I'll give them a 1-0. They've got to go for it. Morecambe and Harrogate. Morecambe are dead last, relegated. Harrogate just, again, bottom half. They're doing all right, you know. I'm surprised they've maintained League 1 status for as long as they have Harrogate, for a town which is full of Leeds fans. But it's a nothing game and it doesn't mean anything. But if Harrogate can't win this, then they'll probably never win a game again. 2-0. Newport Tranmere, the 2 sides that have narrowly avoided relegation. Again, don't think either of these 2 care realistically what happens because they've both stayed up. So I'll just go with home team because of that and nothing else. And the fact that Tranmere might honestly be on beers on way down. I'll go 3-2. Newport. Port Vale, Gillingham. There's obviously something riding on this, but not a lot because there's a league title up for grabs here with Port Vale. And I did say I thought they'd win it with Donkey Moore not long ago. They probably won't win it because Donny are a point in front and on really good form. But Port Vale are up regardless. Gillingham, massive underachievers this year, you know, because since the money coming with these owners, I thought that they'd gone for it a little bit more than they have done. They've underachieved last 2 years. I think Port Vale win this to give them a decent chance of winning league. 2-0. Swindon MK Dons, it just smells like a draw to me. 1-1. And then, time for the games that actually mean something. Carlisle and Salford up first. Carlisle are relegated. Madness. But when you employ Mike Williamson with a bunch of milkmen in your defence, I'm not surprised. Absolute Looney Tunes behaviour from higher-ups at this club. Idiots. Salford, I can't believe it, but they actually might get into playoffs again. I can't be arsed with these coming up. I've had enough of these little tin pot sides coming from nowhere into this league. Why am I about to go to Salford away? I mean, I'm loving it because we'll take about 8,000 fans and it'll just be on piss up all day. Be a good laugh. But still, Salford. I mean, at least it's another one at 92 to tick off in it, I guess, if they do end up sneaking the way in. At the current 4 sides at playoffs, I've not done any of them. So, I'm happy days, really, whoever comes up. However, despite having 2 wins and 7 goals scored in the last 2 games, they can be got at. Salford. They are conceding a few goals, especially recently. And Carlisle, despite being relegated, have put a decent run at it in the last 5 games. They've scored in every game. I think they'll do the same here. I can honestly see Salford drawing, and that'd mean that they don't get in. It's not a bias because, like I've just said, even though Salford are tin potters out, it'll be a good day out. It's only in Manchester, innit? It's easy for a piss up. So it'll be a good laugh. The more I speak about it, the more I actually want them to get promoted just so I can go there. But I think Salford will draw, which will mean that they fall out due to my Chesterfield prediction, thinking that they'll win. So I've got a Salford-Carlisle 1-1 draw. Grimsby and Wimbledon. This is a big dog. This is a very, very important game, this. Grimsby are 8th and Wimbledon are 6th. If Grimsby get in, Wimbledon could fall out still. I very much doubt it because it will rely on Salford, Grimsby, Chesterfield all winning, all these sides winning. So I very much doubt it, but there's always a chance. Grimsby's the one that I want the most, I think, out of these sides. Proper northern shithole. That's the type of away game I want to go to. Ground smack in middle of an housing estate. Just group of fellas waiting for you around every corner so they can kick you ready. That's what I'm talking about. And more importantly, Wimbledon in the last 4 games, I've had 4 decent sides, right? They've had Donny, Chesterfield, Gillingham and Port Vale. I know Gillingham are far down at table compared to other 3. But there's 4 games there and they've not won any of them. Against half-decent sides, Wimbledon can't really hack it as much recently. And their away form is very iffy to say at least. They've won once since the 2nd of January. So not the most efficient side ever away. Grimsby, though, equally as dodgy at home. They've won 2 out of the last 5 but also lost over 3. But you've got to expect that ground will be full or close to it. They're going to be up for it. Place should be bouncing. Grimsby's goal difference is shockingly bad compared to other sides down here. They're on a -5. They could get into playoffs. They could get promoted with negative goal difference. The team below them, Grimsby, have got an 18 goal difference. That's a 23 goal swing. And one of them might get in, and one might not. I think Grimsby and Wimbledon will draw. I want Grimsby to win. To be fair, I've been to Wimbledon here and it'll be a piss up round London. But I want Grimsby to win. I just think they will both draw, which means that Wimbledon will still get in there, but Grimsby will not. Right, now we're into the really, really big games. Notts County at home to Donny. Notts County are in 5th. They can get into top 3 if Bradford lose as well. But they are playing Donny, who've got a title on line. They've got best player in the league in Luke Molyneux. Welcome to Barnsley. And they've won the last 3 games in a row. They bet Colchester 3-0 to have been chasing playoffs. They bet Bradford 2-1 in the last game to get promoted. They're going to be high on life. Notts County are going to come here and go for it big time. And I think just like the pure maverick of McGoldrick could just make something happen out of nothing. And my head does say a draw, but I can't see either of them taking it. Notts County will want to come here and win to get into autos. Donny want to come here and win for a league title. But I think they might cancel each other out to a point where I'll say I'm going to go here 1-1. Which would in turn mean that Notts County is still going to finish 5th if this is how I'm saying it. But Donny won't win league and Port Vale will. So that's where I'm at a minute with that. Crewe and Walsall. Notts County drawing means that in my delusional world, it's either Walsall or Bradford now for a last automatic spot. Walsall, though, are absolutely dog shit. And Sadler, the manager, who will be linked with every Championship and League One job at start of season, has had 1 or 2 players removed from him and they've dropped off a cliff massively. If I were a Walsall fan, I would have a permanent stain on my heart and a hatred towards Stoke that could not be matched. Because if Nathan Lowe was still at Walsall, 115 points, league title wrapped up in March, and League Two's greatest ever player statue plonked in Midlands. But they can't win to save their life. They're so shit, man. Honestly, they're terrible. The odd bits that I've seen of these, they are so crap. The man management and more importantly, game management from Walsall is terrible. Can I see them winning away at Crewe, who've also not won in a while now and are equally as bad, realistically, who score nowhere near enough goals, and that's part of the reason that they're in mid-table, whilst having a really good year last year, Crewe, and getting to playoff final, I think. Or semis. I think they might have lost to Crawley. They definitely got to playoffs last year, but they've been nowhere near as good this time. Are Walsall going to win? No. I think they'll draw. I think this will be another 2 apiece. I'll go with a draw, which would in turn take them on level points with Bradford and a better goal difference. So if Bradford lost, Walsall will go up. However, going into the last game, Bradford Fleetwood. I don't know if Shepherd's fit. The centre-half who's on loan from Reds and probably best player in the league, apart from Luke Molyneux, who will also be at Reds. But Bradford's record against Fleetwood is terrible last few times that they've met. However, with Fleetwood having nothing to play for, and Bradford's ground is going to be packed to the brim. I know it's only 20p for a ticket, but that should be encouraged and not laughed at. I think that Bradford will win very, very late on, I think it'll be 2-1 Bradford against Fleetwood, which would mean that Port Vale are my league winners, Donny in second, Bradford finish third, and then a playoffs of Walsall, Notts County, Wimbledon, and Chesterfield getting on last day. That is what I see happening. Thank you so much for watching, boys. Kiss. Make sure you like, subscribe, please. If you did enjoy, I will see you for the live at 12:20 on Saturday. That should be an absolute all-time, and there's a lot to happen. Thanks again for watching, boys. Love you all. See you in a bit. Goodbye.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us me tits.